This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast, with original independent science fiction, written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I have Chapter 5 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode. Alibi Jones is, he's seen some big changes after last episode. He's been transferred from the Mediation Corps to the Covert Ops side of things in the Solar Alliance Interplanetary Force, or SAIF, S-A-I-F. So he's now part of the SAIF Covert Ops branch. And he's been reassigned to a remote base just beyond the limits of the Solar Alliance, known as the Hornet's Nest. Now, Alibi's transfer was made to look like he was being drummed out of the Solar Alliance Interplanetary Force, out of SAIF. But no, he's actually now Covert Ops, and his team is showing up at the Hornet's Nest. He's going to be leading them on Covert Ops, basically. Emily Brown just showed up, his second in command, and who just happened to be Alibi's wife in a variant timeline, but that's a different story. That's part of the Time War of the Devrisium. Although it's still in Alibi's memories, but nobody else's, not even hers. Although he did meet her as part of the Time War in this timeline. And now, Alibi and Emily are getting ready to welcome more of their crew as we get into Chapter 5 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, coming up on Glow in the Dark Radio. A reminder that the Smashwords End of the Year sale is on. Your chance to get at least 3 of my books for half price and at least 1 for free. I've got ebooks on sale, the Vatican Assassin Trilogy, The Adventures of Alibi Jones, Chronological Omnibus, and Star-Lord and the Guardians of the Galaxy, an unofficial comic book history. Each of those is usually $4.99 for the book, for the ebook. Now, for this month, they are 50% off at $2.99 a piece. And I decided to take the novel you're listening to and make that ebook, the ebook, mind you, free during this sale. So just look for me, Mike Luoma, M-I-K-E-L-U-O-M-A, at smashwords.com, or follow the link that's in the show notes. That's the Smashwords End of the Year sale going on now through January 1st at smashwords.com. Once again, a big thank you to patrons who should be getting this episode early. I do try to at least do that for patrons. When I do have other stuff to give you, I give you that. But patrons help keep this show going for $2, $5, or $10 a month. I've lost a couple of patrons lately, which is, it's sad to see people go, but economic circumstances change for all of us. What you're getting out of the show might not be the same as you've gotten before. It's up to you. But if you are getting something out of the show, and you haven't become a patron yet, please consider becoming a patron for $2, $5, or $10 a month and helping to support my efforts here. I could use the support. As I've said, a couple people bowing out, so if you could bow in, that would be awesome. The place to do this is at Patreon, Patreon. So you go to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio, and that's where you can get all the information about becoming a patron and sign up. They handle all the financial stuff at Patreon. So again, patrons pay $2, $5, or $10 a month to help support the podcast, but it's entirely voluntary. It's up to you. Patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. We're going to get into Chapter 5 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Hi, I'm JC. My co-host Cindy and I host the Fix It Home Improvement Podcast. We cover projects that every homeowner should know and top-rated products for home and garden. You can check it out on your favorite podcast app. It's called Fix It, F-I-X-I-T, Home Improvement.
Now here's Chapter 5 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow in the Dark Radio. Alibi found it hard sometimes, remembering a war no one else seemed to recall, but Emily Brown had been a part of it. Maybe she still remembers. She was in on the Time War. Might help her retention. She helped rescue me from the Devrisium, after all. But there's no way she can remember that other timeline. That alternate timeline the Devrisium exposed Alibi to during the Time War haunted him still. An old man, married to Emily, and a timeline that dead-ended. The Devrisium tried to strand him, his bioenergies, in that dead-end timeline, to effectively kill him in this one. It didn't work. Alibi found himself back in this timeline, and a captive of the Devrisium. He was rescued by Emily, a much younger Emily than he remembered, and her fellow SAIF troopers. It was an odd thing to see the woman he'd thought of as his old, familiar wife anew, as a stranger. To be honest, it's a little jarring to see her here now. Only the second time we've really met in this timeline, with us still in our 20s. "Did you hear my question?" she asked. Her playful demeanor had darkened. "Have you been listening to me at all?" "Sure," Alibi lied. He changed the subject. "You ever get déjà vu?" "Sometimes," she said. She persisted. "What did I say?" Alibi ignored the question. "Ever since the Devrisium's Time War, I kind of get hit by it a lot," he explained. "The Time War? We met then, right? Is that why you're looking at me like that?" she asked. "Like what?" Alibi asked, confused. "Like, I don't know, it's starting to be a little creepy. Like you're trying to look inside my soul or something." "What? Creepy? No, sorry, just, you look like somebody I used to know. And something else. Because of when we met before. I grew old with you. Only, I didn't remember growing old with you. Which was the problem? The clue." "We have met before, haven't we?" she asked. Alibi could see she was trying to remember. Her memory of saving me is starting to fade. "You rescued me," he said. She looked at him, puzzled. He tried to clarify. "From the Devrisium?" "The Devrisium? Who were—" "Oh, wait! Yeah, I kind of remember." "Wow. Weird." She concentrated, trying to recall the incident. "The Time War? That's right. Wow, forgot all about that," she said. Her eyes widened as she looked at Alibi again. "We rescued you from them. That's why you're so familiar. Well, kind of. Hard to hold on to those memories, though. Weird." "People's memories of the Devrisium are slipping away," Alibi said. "I think it's because of the way they messed with the time streams. It's like they're being erased. Some days I'm not sure what I remember." She gave him a questioning look, as if trying to recall a lost train of thought. She shook her head, frowned. "Sure, okay. So, can I see my cabin then?" she asked. "Sure," Alibi said. "The one on the ship or the one on the base?" "My home base," she said. "I can pick any cabin on board here when we're out." but I'd like to be able to make a place my own on the base." "Not a problem. I've been cleaning out a few of the Hornet's nest's nicest cabins," Alibi told her as he led her off the ship and out of the bay. "Right this way." Emily took in the surroundings as they walked from the bays through the command level and down towards the crew cabins. The base had been carved out of the native rock of the asteroid it was built into, creating some strange twists and turns in the layout. "So, this is the Hornet's nest, eh?" she said. "I tried to do some research about the place before coming out. An abandoned forward operations base?" "Yep," Alibi said. "Built to house a small platoon. A little big for a 4-man crew, but at least we'll be able to spread out." "When is Lieutenant Brisby due in?" Emily asked as they walked. "And what about the Dakur? I heard we were going to have one of them on the crew. Your co-pilot." "Cat's due in the next day or so," Alibi told her. "Brisby, we've got to go pick up." They stopped at the entrance to the crew cabin section Alibi had been refurbishing. The corridor walls ahead were lined with 5 open doors on each side, like a dull gray hotel. "Where's your cabin?" Emily asked. Alibi indicated the first door on the right. Emily nodded and then walked down to the corridor's other end, choosing the cabin behind the last door on the left. "I'll be in here then," she said. "Sounds good," he said. "Need any help with your stuff?" "Stuff? Nope, all set, thanks," she said. She opened the cabin door, ducked inside, and closed it behind her. Alibi waited, staring for a moment at the closed door. He was surprised how long it took Emily to open it again. About 2 minutes. "Okay," she said, fuming. "There's no furniture in here. Nothing on the floors. No carpets. No towels in the bathroom. No bed in the bedroom. Nothing." Alibi waited for her to finish ranting. "Not knowing what rooms all of you might pick out, I didn't furnish any of them," he explained. "But I did make sure they were all clean, so there's that. And the furniture and stuff is all in storage," Alibi said. "So I'll offer again. Can I help you with your stuff?" She glared at him, but there wasn't much fire in her look. She only wanted him to burn a little. "Yes," she said. "Please. It's back up a couple levels. Come on, I'll show you." "That's the base? That rock?" Lieutenant Nathan Brisby leaned up between Alibi and Emily in the pilot and co-pilot seats to look out the forward viewport on the bridge of the cruiser as they approached the asteroid. Brisby was career military and looked it, his black hair cropped close to his dark-skinned scalp. "Yep," Alibi confirmed. "Our home, for the near future, at least." Brisby squinted as he looked out. "Doesn't look like much," he said. "Well," Alibi started, growing a little defensive, "it's not supposed to look like much. It was a SAIF forward operations base, kind of camouflaged." "It's pretty big inside," Emily chimed in, cutting the tension. "There are landing bays for 5 ships, along with a few hidden docking ports and a small ship repair facility. Room enough for a platoon on board, so there's a big galley and mess hall, a rec center and gym, and lots of empty cabins. Plus there's a hospital, a small exoscience lab, a communications hub, lots of warehouse space." "All that out here, huh?" Brisby said, interrupting her. "Who knew?" "Some of us research our assignments ahead of time," Emily said. Brisby frowned and leaned back in his seat behind Alibi, silenced. Alibi maneuvered the cruiser around to the dark side. The asteroid's orbit around its distant blue giant star kept its same side facing the light source. The SAIF Engineering Corps constructed the landing bay on the dark side with that in mind. It was a little tricky maneuvering a cruiser into the landing bay. Alibi had to fly the ship into a straight shaft leading directly down or forward into the base rock, then find a second shaft in the roof of the first. He took the ship up the second shaft, past blast doors and hatches that sealed behind them as they entered the base's landing bays. Brisby tried to watch the process, but it was pitch black outside the viewport for the most part. After the bay doors sealed them in, the landing area lights came on, and Brisby had to blink at the brightness. "Wow, didn't expect that," he said. Emily smiled. Alibi, bringing the ship in to land in the bay, concentrated on his efforts and ignored Brisby. He turned on the bay's artificial gravity and began easing the cruiser down. As the landing gear made contact, Alibi triggered the base's remote controls to flood the bay with air so they could disembark. Alibi powered down the cruiser. He unlocked the ship's main back doors from the bridge, so Brisby would be able to retrieve his gear from the cargo hold, and took the safeties off the airlocks, opening the forward two, port and starboard. Emily led Brisby off the ship, with Alibi not far behind. "Never," Brisby said to Emily as Alibi stepped out onto the floor of the ship's bay and into their conversation. "Never what?" Alibi asked. "I asked Brisby if he'd ever seen a dacour before," Emily said. "Neither of us have," Brisby said. "She was just telling me." "Really?" Alibi asked. Emily frowned. "You've been in the Mediation Corps," Emily said. "You got to see stuff the rest of us regular grunts in the SAIF didn't, or don't get to usually. I hadn't met a dacour before until yesterday." "Guess I've been lucky," Alibi said. "Is it true Brisby started to ask a question, but seemed to stop as he thought about it. He looked flushed. "What is it, Brisby?" "Never mind," Brisby said. "Spit it out," Alibi pushed. "That's an order." Yeah, me giving orders. Well, it should work with this one. "Was wondering if it was true that the dacour smelled bad, sir," Brisby said. Alibi laughed. He couldn't help it. He had to forgive the man his ignorance. He'd tried not to ask. "They think we smell bad, Brisby," Alibi said. "The dacour have incredibly sensitive senses of smell. You've got it backwards. In fact, my, former dacour friend Kit used to tell me that we humans smelled like sweaty, stinky meat," a growling voice said, finishing the quote. The cat-like dacour Catrafundler Grundler approached them as they stood waiting outside the ship. "But my brother is a bit more sensitive than most dacour." Catrafundler Grundler arrived yesterday and settled into a cabin, disappearing for a while to rest after his trip out from her on the other side of the Solar Alliance. Alibi hadn't had much of a chance to speak with the cat-like alien. "Hey, Catrafundler Grundler," Alibi said. "You get some rest?" "Yes, Alibi Jones, I did," Catrafundler Grundler said. "Much better now." "Good. And please, just call me Alibi, not Alibi Jones. It just sounds better, okay?" "Yes," Catrafundler Grundler agreed. "Will you be using your own name under cover? That does not seem wise." "That's part of the plan, actually," Alibi said. "After the Kismet news came out, my reputation in the Solar Alliance turned to shit. Everybody thinks I've been drummed out of the SAIF for good. So it makes a sort of sense I'd leave the SA and try to go it on my own out here. Seems like a good cover." "A dacour," Brisby said. "You know, I've never seen one up close before. Been pretty earthbound up to now." Catrafundler Grundler looked up at Brisby. "Ah, a human idiot. I have never seen one up close before," Catrafundler Grundler said, mimicking the man. Emily started laughing. Alibi's own eyes widened as he looked from Catrafundler Grundler to Brisby. "What did I say?" Brisby asked, confused and embarrassed. "You sounded like you were talking about an animal in a zoo," Emily told him as she chuckled. "Who knows what Catrafundler Grundler got from his translator?" Alibi spoke up to keep the peace. "This assignment has all of us experiencing a lot of things for the first time," Alibi said. "That's not likely to stop since we're out beyond the boundaries of the Solar Alliance, where things get weird. Better get used to it." Alibi looked from the Catman back to the cadet. "Catrafundler Grundler, this is Brisby. Brisby is our liaison with the SAIF, our contact man with the folks back home. Brisby, this is Catrafundler Grundler. Catrafundler Grundler's going to be my co-pilot when we're out in the field." Brisby held out his hand. "Nice to meet you," he said. Catrafundler Grundler looked at the extended hand, puzzled. Emily laughed again. "Dacour don't shake hands or paws," she said. "They have other ways of greeting." "Oh," Brisby said, chagrined. He lowered his hand and looked at Catrafundler Grundler. "Sorry, I haven't been off Earth very much yet. This is all new to me." "I have not had many opportunities to leave her either," Catrafundler Grundler said. "I am sure I will make mistakes as well. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Brisby." Grundler said, formally. Lieutenant, Brisby said, bristling a little. It's Lieutenant Brisby, not Mr. Like Grundler said, we'll all be making mistakes as we go, Alibi said. Better get used to it. And be less of a stickler for military formalities. We're not going to be calling you lieutenant out in the field anyway. Out in the field? Brisby said, sounding shocked. Oh no, I'm your liaison. I'm not supposed to be in the field. We're in the field now, Emily pointed out. We're all a part of this crew. How do you think this works? Alibi asked Brisby. We can't be dropping you off in major spaceports dressed like a SAIF officer. Oh, yeah, Brisby said. That makes sense. Sorry, Grundler. Guess I am Mr. Brisby now. Alibi couldn't be sure, but he thought Grundler was grinning the equivalent of a Darkur grin. Good to make your acquaintance, Grundler said. Whoever you are. Alibi burst out laughing. Pure comedy, Alibi said in between laughs. The Darkur looked alarmed, confused by Alibi's outburst. Come, Eddie? And that noise, Grundler said. What does it mean? I am not hearing a translation. Comedy means you're funny. The noise is laughter, Alibi said. He tried to imitate how he remembered Kit laughing. The Darkur sort of hissed. You know, hiss, 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 hiss. Grundler cocked his head quizzically. Are you all right, Alibi Jones? Grundler asked. I am fine, Alibi said. I was trying to laugh like a Darkur. How are you, Grundler? Grundler looked surprised. I am fine, Alibi Jones, Grundler said. By the way, thank you for using my full name. You are welcome, Alibi said. Now, may I call you Cat? Grundler appeared to frown. Yes, I suppose so. You humans always want to shorten our names. We do it ourselves, Alibi said. My Aunt Anita likes to call me Allie, for example. That is strange, Cat said. Your names are already so short. They tried to shorten my name to Briz at the academy, Brisby said. I didn't like it. Tried to get them to call me The Breeze, but it didn't stick. The others looked at him in silence for a moment. Sometimes I get called M, Emily said, which is really only one letter when you think about it. Alibi laughed. Welcome to the Hornet's Nest, Brisby, Alibi said past his laughter. Emily, can you show Mr. Brisby to the cabin so he can pick a place to call his own? Sure, she said. Grab your stuff, Brisby. Oh, sure, he said, a bit absent-mindedly, as he was also rummaging through his flight suit's pockets. He pulled out a memory crystal, standard for secure communication. He handed it to Alibi. What's this? Alibi asked. Our first assignment, Brisby said. Your Aunt Anita gave it to me herself. Alibi accepted the crystal and turned it over in his hand. Well, Alibi said, I wonder where we'll be off to first. Get a good night's sleep, he told the other three. I'll take a look at this and let you know what we're up to over breakfast. Alibi smiled. Until then, have a good night. What is that? Emily asked, walking into the Hornet's Nest mess hall the next morning. Alibi was eating his breakfast, reading something on a floating screen in front of him. Our mission? Yep, he said. Where are we going? She asked. Can't tell you. Not yet. It's a secret. Really? Really? Does Brisby know? She asked, angered. No, I don't think so, Alibi said. But it's a good mission. Pretty juicy right from the start. Oh, she said, mellowing a little. The only thing I'll say is this. You and I probably got this assignment because of our experiences, he said. That's mysterious sounding, she said. What experiences? Alibi didn't answer her. They both turned as Brisby and Cat entered the mess hall. What's our mission? Brisby asked. It's a secret, Emily said in a sarcastic voice, before Alibi could answer. A secret, Cat echoed. Alibi nodded. I'm not supposed to tell you where we're ultimately going until after we come out of transspace near the target, Alibi said. But I can tell you that, First, we're picking up some cargo, also at an undisclosed location. He grinned. Who likes seafood? That was Chapter 5 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, part of the Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Well, we got to meet Kat, we met Lieutenant Nathan Brisby, and they're already off on their first mission. We'll find out what that is on our next episode, in Chapter 6 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. A reminder once again that Smashword's end-of-year sale is on. You can get ebooks for half price, the Vatican Assassin Trilogy, The Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus, and the Star-Lord and the Guardians of the Galaxy Unofficial History. Those are usually $4.99. They're all 50% off, just $2.49 through January 1st at smashwords.com. Just sit over there and look for me, Mike Luoma, or follow the link in the show notes. And again, a big thank you to patrons who help keep the show going. And if you want to become one, head to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2025 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NCND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.